Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and give this video a like up. When The Young and the Restless introduced Audra Charles in 2022, we were captivated. She was strong, sneaky, and full of potential. But since then, the character has been majorly watered down and turned into just another female power player whose power is mostly given to her by the men in her orbit. That was a disappointing enough continuation of a trend. See also, Nikki Newman and Sally Spectra. But then the show went and made it worse. Even though Genoa City seems to have more corporations than park benches, and more CEO jobs than grocery store cashier gigs, the powers that be told us that Audra couldn't find a company of her own to run, in a town that's lousy with them. Then they had Audra agree to use her allure to turn ex-lover Kyle's head in exchange for the chance to run some corporation or other, whatever Victor finds for her, as a thank you for breaking up his granddaughter's relationship. We don't have 3 words for this twist. We have 3 letters, WDH. Audra is supposed to be smart, yet she's trusting Victor, and that is categorically stupid. She is supposed to be capable. Yet in Genoa City, where everyone from ex-strippers, Nikki, to card-carrying scroops, Billy, have corner offices, Audra is the only person left out of the game of musical big boss chairs. Why? This storyline does a disservice to the audience by telling us, again, that Audra isn't as amazing as we were led to believe. It is a slap in the face to womankind, suggesting that Audra's most marketable quality is her sex appeal. And if she goes through with Victor's plan, it shouldn't be the end of her otherwise healthy relationship with Nate. Maybe it does track with the character's history. Zuleika Silver did once tell Soaps.com that somewhere along the line, Audra made the decision to put success in business above her personal life. She said, "I don't want to get married. I don't want to lose myself in or to another person." I, as Zuleika, don't know if she means it, but Audra believes she believes it. Still, this plot doesn't have us enthralled. It has us sad. Sad to see Audra's potential squandered. Sad to see an actor as charismatic as Silver stuck playing this hot mess. Sad to see that Young and Restless has chosen to have Victor learn zilch about the way that he has used women as weapons in the past. Remember how well that worked out when he sicked Patty on Jack? Or when he sicked Kelly on Jack? We do. We also recall the way the mustache dropped an imposter Jack in Phyllis' bed. It was gross enough when Bold and Beautiful had Stephanie wore out pal Daphne, in hopes of breaking up Carter and Hope, and thereby regaining control of her family's company. But at least Daphne didn't seem grossed out by what she was doing. She saw it as a game. Audra, on the other hand, doesn't want to do this. She is being forced to in order to achieve her career goals. That is, put simply, yucky. Do better, Young and Restless. In the ever-churning drama, that is The Young and the Restless, characters often flirt with danger, betrayal, and ambition in equal measure. But sometimes, a storyline threatens to undo months, if not years, of carefully constructed character development. And right now, Audra Charles stands on the precipice of just such a cliff. If the show decides to take the predictable route of having Audra seduce Kyle Abbott, it won't just be another corporate power play. It'll be character assassination. Let's be clear. Audra is a rare gem in Genoa City. Since her arrival, she's been a character wrapped in layers of mystery, ambition, and intelligence. She's not the good girl next door, but she's also not a one-dimensional villainess. Audra operates in the gray zone, calculating, savvy, and always 3 steps ahead. She's had flings and power moves, but she's never been reduced to someone who just uses sex as a weapon. That's what makes her compelling. That's what makes her dangerous in all the right ways. Enter Kyle Abbott. Oh, Kyle. Charming, privileged, and chronically messy in a love department. He's had more romantic entanglements than corporate promotions, and lately he's been spinning out since his split from Summer. Vulnerable? Yes. Manipulatable? Absolutely. But is Audra's next logical move really to seduce him? On paper, perhaps, she and Kyle have chemistry. They're both navigating Newman Enterprises with ambitions and egos flaring. And let's not ignore the fact that corporate espionage and boardroom seduction have been the backbone of Genoa City since the days of Victor's first mustache twirl. But just because the story has always flirted with scandal doesn't mean every character needs to be drawn into the same tired web of deceit. If Audra seduces Kyle now, it undercuts everything she's built. Her credibility as a serious businesswoman, gone. Her nuanced relationships with the likes of Tucker and Nate, overshadowed. Her ability to command respect on her own terms, compromised. She'll be reduced to yet another woman who tried to get ahead by betting the boss's son, not the ambitious strategist who's always 10 moves ahead of the men in her orbit. What's worse is how deeply unimaginative such a twist would be. Audra has been one of the freshest additions to the show in recent years. Her backstory with Tucker, her under-the-table maneuvering, her loyalty only to herself. These are the traits that make her dynamic. Audra doesn't need Kyle. Frankly, Kyle needs Audra, and not in the bedroom. He needs someone to challenge him intellectually, to remind him that the world doesn't revolve around Abbott drama and Newman pettiness. A seduction storyline would flatten their dynamic into something basic when it has the potential to be extraordinary. The writers have a real opportunity here to elevate both characters instead of dragging them into yet another cliched entanglement. Imagine, instead, a partnership, not a romantic one, but a strategic alliance. Audra sees potential in Kyle, not as a lover, but as a pawn. Maybe she uses his access to the Abbotts to position herself in Jabot. Maybe she mentors him in the darker arts of corporate maneuvering. That's compelling. That's messy in all the right ways. That gives both characters something to work with beyond the sheets. And let's talk about optics for a second. The soap world has a long history of painting ambitious women as scheming sirens who always use sex as their primary tool. Haven't we moved past that? Can't Audra be allowed to rise through intelligence, wit, and ruthlessness alone? Having her seduce Kyle doesn't just make her predictable, it makes her a stereotype. That's a disservice to Zulika Silver's performance, which has added real depth to the character. Audra doesn't smirk her way through scenes. She calculates, she weighs risk, she adapts. That's what makes her dangerous, and that's what makes her watchable. And speaking of performances, let's not forget the baggage Kyle brings. The character has been floundering since his breakup, bouncing between attempts at reconciliation and half-baked independence. His fling with Audra wouldn't be empowering. It would be reactionary. His need to feel desired, powerful, or relevant would be the true motivator. So once again, we'd have a dynamic where the woman gets blamed, the man gets a redemption arc, and the audience is left wondering why these shows can't find better material for their strongest female leads. There's also the summer factor. Let's be real. If Audra hooks up with Kyle, it's not just a personal betrayal. It's a soap-level thermonuclear disaster waiting to happen. Summer would go ballistic, lines would be drawn, and Audra would be painted as the homewrecker. Again. And sure, that might make for dramatic TV in the short term, but it pushes Audra into the same tired conflict with another woman over a man. Haven't we seen that 100 times before? Let's dream bigger. Let Audra rise. Let her manipulate boardrooms, not bedrooms. Let her outwit Victor, outplay Victoria, outmaneuver Nate. Let her be the kind of character who doesn't need a man to wreak havoc, because her mind is her weapon, not her lipstick. If the writers go through with this Kyle seduction storyline, they'll be hitting snooze on a character who could have kept Genoa City on its toes for years. Worse, they'll be sending a message that even the smartest women on the canvas eventually get reduced to romantic distractions, and that's a loss no viewer wants to see. So here's hoping the young and restless team sees the bigger picture. Audra Charles has the potential to become a powerhouse. Let's not ruin her with a tired trope and a pretty face. Let's let her be what she was always meant to be, a queen maker, not someone who sleeps her way to the throne, but someone who builds it from scratch and dares anyone to take it from her.